Hey guys, so today we are going to discuss about the question called as add two numbers using linked list. So as the title says, adding two numbers. To be honest, that's what we're gonna do. So we might have learned in the elementary school itself, right? How we add two numbers. For example, let's say we have 3 and 4 and 2. We have 4, 6 and 5. How do we add these two numbers? Starting from the right, we have 2 and 5, right? So 2 plus 5 is gonna be 7. 6 plus 4 is gonna be 10. But we add carry, which is gonna be 1. So 4 plus 3 plus 1, it's gonna be 8. So this is how we add two numbers. But there's a small change in this question. So let's start reading the question. So you are given two non-empty linked lists representing two non-negative integers. So what they're trying to say is they'll be giving you two in linked list where it represents two non-negative integers. So the digits are stored in the reverse order and each of their nodes contains a single digit. So what they're trying to say is they'll be giving you a linked list which represents an integer and they'll be sending you in the form of reverse order. Like for example, let's say we have 342 here. So instead of sending 342, they'll be giving you 243. That's what they meant. So add the two numbers and return the sum as a linked list. So what we have to do is we have to add those two linked lists and return the sum of them in the form of a linked list. So let's get in detail about the question. So let's come back to adding two numbers again. So as I said before, how do we add two numbers? So we have 3, 4 and 2, right? And we have 4, 6 and 5. So we add these two numbers. As I said before, like 2 plus 5 is going to be 7, 6 plus 4 is going to be 10, adding carry, and 3 plus 4 plus 1 is going to be 8. So the question said there are two linked lists which are in reverse order, which actually means 3, 4, 2. The reverse order would be 2, 4 and 3. And similarly for 4, 6, 5, it's going to be 5, 6 and 4. So if you see clearly, if it is in original order, we are starting from right? We are starting from right side and going towards left side by adding two digits. If at all they give in reverse order, can't we say we start from left side and start adding carry to the right side? Of course we can. So if what we can do is start adding from the left. For example, from here, 5 plus 2, it's got to be 7. 6 plus 4, it's got to be 10. We add the last digit, which is 0. And we add carry to the right side numbers. So 4 plus 3 plus 1, it's going to be 8. And we have 708. So this is the pretty much the answer for this. So let's get in detail in terms of linked list. How do we add these two numbers? So imagine we have two linked lists given. So let's say the first linked list is called as L1 and the second list is called as L2. So the requirement is to send a linked list or to return a linked list which represents the sum of these two linked lists, right? So as I said before, these are in reverse order. So we're gonna start from the left side. So we can take two pointers. So one pointer will be pointing to the first list and the second pointer will be pointing to the second list. So now add these two nodes. It's gonna be 7, right? So we can add 7 to the result. Let's say we have a result pointer and this pointer will be pointing the first node of the result. So initially it is 7. Now we move these pointers forward. So now this is going to be pointing to 4 and this is going to be pointing to 6. Now 6 plus 4 going to be 10, right? So we will be getting the last digit, which is 0, and we'll be using the carry for the next one, which is the for 3 and 4. So now similarly we move the pointers forward, which is going to point to 3, this is going to point to 4, and don't forget we have carry. Carry is now 1 because 6 plus 4 is 10, right? So we have added 0 and carry is 1. So now 4 plus 3, it's going to be 7, and plus 1, which is carry, so it's going to be 8. And we move forward and we don't have anything, right? So now we don't have to do much anything about that, so because that's the solution. So this is one case. So there are pretty much few edge cases in this question actually, so let's discuss about them. So previously we have taken two linked lists which are of same size, right? So we have took 2 4 3 and 5 6 4, which are of same size, which is 3. So now there is a case where there might be of different sizes. For example, let's say here list 1 is of size 3 and list 2 is of size 5. So this is a bit edge case. So let's start from the beginning again. So we have two pointers which is going to point the list 1 and list 2. So this is going to be 7 as before, and we move forward with the pointers, and this is going to be 10. We take the last digit and we take the carry is going to be 1 now, and we add these 3 and 4, and by the way we move the pointers. So 3 plus 4, 4 plus 3 plus carry 1, it's going to be 8. And now the main thing starts, because if we move these 2 pointers forward, we have one node which is 5 and we don't have any other node which is null, right? So now in this case what we can do is, if at all the current pointer is pointing to null, we can consider it as 0. So now what we can do is add the 0 plus 5, it's going to be 5, and now we can move forward. As we don't have nothing to move forward, we can keep this pointer here itself, but we have to move this pointer, so it's going to be 8 now. So now 0 plus 8, it's going to be 8, and now we move this forward. So as this don't have anything, so this is going to be null. So when both the pointers are pointing to null, then that actually means we are done with the linked list. So the one which is in the result is our solution. Now let's get to the code. So we are having a method called as add two numbers, which contains parameters called as L1 and L2, which are basically a linked list. So initially what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a dummy linked list, dummy node. I'll tell you why this is used. So whenever I get a result, I'll be adding the result to this dummy linked list, so that I can return dummy.next at the end. So it's going to be dummy.next. And now I'll be using another pointer which will be pointing to this dummy, so I can keep on adding the result to this dummy linked list. So now I'll be using a while loop. So I have to make sure any of the pointers which is L1 and L2 will contain a node, or it points to a node. We have to make sure it doesn't, both the pointers don't point to a null, right? So while L1 is not equal to null, or maybe L2 is not equal to null, then we can go forward. So first thing, let's extract the values inside a node. So let's name it as n1. So now we have to make sure it is not null or it is null. So if it is null, as I said before, we're gonna keep it as 0. So if L1 is equal to null, then the value we can take it as 0, or else L1 value we can take it as. So int n2. So now again similarly, L2 is equal to null, then it's going to be 0, or else L2 dot value. Yes, right? So now we're going to add a sum of it, which is going to be n1 plus n2. So now what if this number or these pointers are pointing to the second level? For example, let's say here 2 and 5 is first level, right? So 4 and 6 is second level. What if we are performing this sum operation for 4 and 6, and this 2 and 5, or maybe it is like 5 plus 5, when we had carry here? Yes, right? There might be a chance that previous number had a carry, and we have to add that carry here as well. So for that, I'll be using a variable called as carry, which is going to be 0 initially, and I can add that carry here. So I can assign carry for this carry variable. So now, as we have seen before, we're going to take the last digit of the result, right, for the sum. So let's take the last digit. So how do you take the last digit? So generally we take the last digit by taking percentile 10, right? So this is how we take the last digit. So we take the carry, which is going to be sum by 10. So now we create a new node. So let's create a new node which contains the value of the last digit. It's going to be last digit. So now, as I said before, I'll be having a dummy node, right? And also a pointer which will attach the result to it. So now I'll be taking ptr.next. It's going to be this new node, and I'll move the pointer forward. Ptr is equal to ptr.next, so that we can add the next result to the ptr. So now we have to make sure the next shouldn't be null, or the current L1 or L2 shouldn't be null. So if it is null, we cannot move that L1 or L2 forward, right? So if L1 is not equal to null, L1 is not equal to null, then we can move L1 to one step forward. Similarly, if L2 is not equal to null, L2 is equal to L2 dot next. And now the main thing which we forgot comes into picture. So if at all we have done operation for the last digits, let's say we have 3 and 4, right? Maybe assume we have something like 6 plus 6. Let's assume this is L1 pointing to 6, we have L2 pointing to some other 6. So the sum would be 6 plus 6, it's going to be 12, right? So we take the last digit, which is 2, and we have carry left, which is 1, right? So now the carry will be in this variable only. We are not adding this carry at the end in this while loop. So now we have to add that carry if at all it is greater than 0. So if carry is greater than 0, now we create a new node again, new node, and the value is gonna be this carry. Now ptr.next is gonna be this new node. So now we are done with adding the result to the ptr or the dummy nodes, and now we're gonna return dummy.next at the end. So let's try to run this code. Hope for no compilation errors. Oh yeah, it worked. Let's try to submit this. Yeah, it got succeeded. So this is how you add two numbers using linked list. So basically it would be a bit complex at the end if you are a beginner, but when you're trying to solve this question, but if you get the concept, you can even solve related questions as well. So if you like the video, please make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you.